All right, so the final topic to look at when discussing angular momentum is the concept of impulse. Impulse was an important thing when we looked at linear momentum because it related momentum back to forces and Newton's second law, and then we could also relate it to things like kinematics. So, just a review here, linear impulse was calculated by saying that the change in momentum, which is the impulse, delta p and impulse are the exact same thing, is equal to the change in mass times velocity. By the way, that little part is not on your AP formula sheet and usually involved a change in velocity for an object. I'm going to encourage you to make sure you know that delta p could be found by doing mv final minus mv initial. On your AP formula sheet, though, all it says is that delta p, the impulse, is equal to the force multiplied by the change in time. And this is one of those goofy situations where the AP formula sheet has decided we should use delta t instead of t, but it's the same thing. They give you some sort of amount of time that elapses and that a force is applied for, and you can calculate the impulse, the change in momentum for an object. So, quick review of linear impulse there. We have the same idea with angular impulse. The angular impulse is the change in angular momentum, L final minus L initial. You can find this two different ways. First, you could do I final multiplied by omega final minus the quantity I initial multiplied by omega initial. But just like there's another way to find linear impulse by doing the force multiplied by the change in time, there's another way to find the angular impulse, and this is what shows up on your AP formula sheet. You're going to take the amount of torque and multiply by how long that torque is applied for, delta t, and that will also calculate the delta L for you. So now you can connect the angular momentum to the torque in Newton's second law for rotation, and then you can possibly do even some rotational kinematics problems with that particular information. So something to be familiar with, something that can definitely be used. I would definitely know about impulse going into the AP test, but that about covers it.